Mayor, I think we're ready whenever you are.
I call the meeting to order at 9 o'clock. If you can please all join me in the flag salute. Please stand, face the flag. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. City Clerk, do we have any changes to, oh no, I'm sorry. City Clerk, can you please take the roll call?
Yes, Mayor Lopez,
Present.
Mayor Ibarra,
Mayor Pro Tem.
I'm sorry, Mayor Pro Tem Ibarra,
Here.
Councilmember Davis,
Yeah.
Councilmember Menke,
Present.
Councilmember Gonzalez.
Here.
You have a quorum.
Thank you. Are there any changes to the agenda, City Clerk?
I believe the interim city attorney has a change.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you, Mayor and members of the council. There's a request at this time to add to a closed session one item under public employee evaluation pursuant to Government Code Section 54957. That is the position of city administrator. In as much as this item came up after the posting of the agenda and there's a need to address certain issues forthwith. We would need a motion, Mayor, to add this to the agenda with those findings, and we would need a 4/5 vote to add it to the agenda.
I'll move.
I'll second.
Motion by Mayor Pro Tem Ibarra, seconded by Councilmember Davis to add the closed session item as indicated. Mayor Lopez,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Ibarra,
Yes.
Councilmember Davis,
Yes.
Councilmember Menke,
Yes.
Councilmember Gonzalez.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Is there any other changes to the agenda?
There are none.
Okay, thank you. May I have a motion to approve the agenda?
I'll move with additional item. A second.
Motion by Mayor Pro Tem Ibarra, seconded by Councilmember Gonzalez to approve the agenda as amended. Mayor Lopez,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Ibarra,
Yes.
Councilmember Davis.
Yes.
Councilmember Menke.
Yes.
Councilmember Gonzalez.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Now we will take public comment from members of the audience. At this time, the public is encouraged to address the City Council on any matter that is within the subject matter jurisdiction of the City Council. The public will also be given a chance to comment on matters which are on the posted agenda during City Council deliberation on those specific matters. Do we have any public comment?
It appears as if there are none.
Seeing that there are none, we will now go on to presentation item number 1.
Item 1 is Employee Service Pin Awards for July 2020. Human Resources Director Earl will present the item.
Good morning, Mayor and members of the City Council. During the month of July, we had 3 employees who achieved service milestones with the city. We have 2 of those employees here today to receive their service pins. First, we'd like to recognize Lieutenant Brandon Gray from the Police Department, who's being recognized for 25 years of service. Lieutenant Gray, if you could come up. Lieutenant Gray was hired as a dispatcher in the Police Department on July 10th, 1995. He was then appointed to police officer on January 13th, 1999. He was appointed as a police sergeant on May 28th, 2006, and appointed to lieutenant on July 23rd, 2017. Please join me in congratulating Lieutenant Gray on 25 years of service. Your pin's right there on the podium if you want to pick that up. Thank you.
Where are all the girls? Look at all those girls.
Yeah. Next, we'd like to recognize Wenceslao Pepe Reynoso for 35 years of service to the city. Pepe, if you could come up. Pepe was hired as a utility man 5 in the Public Works Department on July 1st, 1985. He then held positions of engineering aide 3, engineering aide 2, code enforcement inspector, building inspector, plan checker, and his current title is senior building inspector, which he was appointed to on April 20th, 2014. Please join me in recognizing Pepe for 35. Thank you.
City Clerk, does that conclude the service pin awards?
Yes.
Okay,
Go on
thank
to
you.
the consent calendar.
Okay, we will now go to the consent calendar. All matters listed on the consent calendar are to be approved with one motion. Items may be removed from the consent calendar by any member of the council. Those items removed will be considered immediately after the consent calendar. Does council wish to pull any items from the consent calendar? Are there any public comments for the consent calendar?
No.
Seeing that there are none, may I have a motion for consent calendar item numbers 2 through 9?
I'll second.
Motion by Councilmember Davis, seconded by Mayor Pro Tem Ibarra to approve the consent calendar. Mayor Lopez,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Ibarra,
Yes.
Councilmember Davis,
Yes.
Councilmember Menke,
Yes.
Councilmember Gonzalez.
Yes.
Motion carried.
We will now go on to new business. Item number 10.
Item 10 is amendments to the classification and compensation plan, and Human Resources Director Earl will present the report.
Good morning again. Good morning again, Mayor and members of the City Council. This item is requesting City Council approval of the new classification of Power Resource Settlement Analyst and the associated salary range, as well as approval of revised job descriptions for the existing classifications of Gas Systems Specialist and Gas Systems Technician. The new classification of Power Resource Settlement Analyst is proposed to replace one vacant Associate Resource Scheduler position that was included in the 2020-2021 Public Utilities Department budget. This position will focus on reconciling and validating settlement information in the Public Utilities Department and working extensively with databases and spreadsheets. The salary range is recommended to be set at range 28 based on the market and internal alignment and represents a 10% reduction from the previous position of Associate Resource Scheduler. There's minor revisions proposed to the job descriptions for Gas Systems Specialist and Gas Systems Technician to more accurately reflect the duties of the position and to update current language of the required certifications and training. That concludes my report, and I'm available for any questions.
Does council have any questions for staff? Are there any public comments?
There are none.
Thank you. Seeing that there are none, may I have a motion?
I'll move. I'll second.
Motion by Councilmember Menke, seconded by Councilmember Gonzalez to approve the revised job descriptions and adopt resolution number 2020-29. Mayor Lopez,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Ibarra,
Yes.
Councilmember Davis.
Yes.
Councilmember Menke.
Yes.
Councilmember Gonzalez.
Yes.
Motion carries.
We will now go on to item number 11.
Item 11 is energy procurement targets of 0 megawatt hours, and Public Utilities General Manager Alan Wu will present the report.
Thank you. This agenda item is about energy procurement targets. It's for energy procurement that is owned and operated by the utility. This agenda item basically makes a recommendation to City Council to adopt a 0 megawatt hour target for the next 3 years. I'm going to go to the report. Assembly Bill 2514 requires City Council to determine targets for VPU, viable and cost-effective energy storage systems every 3 years. Energy storage evaluations were completed in 2014 and 2017, in which the City Council adopted resolution numbers 2014-56 and 2017-47, establishing that a target to procure energy storage system was not appropriate since there were no cost-effective opportunities. No later than October 1st, 2020, City Council is required to adopt a target for the amount of appropriate energy storage that VPU will procure by December 31st, 2021. However, Public Utilities Code Section 9621D, subsection 1, subsection B, effective as of 2018, only requires reevaluation every 5 years as part of the Integrated Resource Plan. The next evaluation will be part of VPU's IRP. VPU staff, through its Integrated Resource Plan, or IRP, analysis, evaluated the cost and associated benefits of energy storage, and the document, the report is attached. The analysis determined that the cost of utility-owned and operated technologies exceeded the value of the benefits and do not provide cost-effective, viable opportunity for VPU at this time. VPU will continue to perform due diligence of energy storage system as it is moving from research and development as the potential benefits of these systems begin to outweigh cost and become feasible to utility operations. To meet the city's obligation, the staff proposes the establishment of energy storage procurement target of 0 megawatt hours. VPU will encourage customers to consider this emerging technology where it's cost effective, as energy storage is expected to have substantial impact in the overarching electric system. Therefore, VPU recommends adoption of resolution number 2020-30, establishing energy procurement targets of 0 megawatt hours. There is no fiscal impact associated with the adoption of this proposed resolution or report. That concludes my report. I'm available for any questions.
Does council have any technical questions for staff? Are there any public comments? Seeing that there are none, may I have a motion for item number 11?
I'll second.
Motion by Councilmember Davis, seconded by Mayor Pro Tem Ibarra, to adopt resolution number 2020-30, establishing any energy procurement targets of 0 megawatt hours. Mayor Lopez,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Ibarra,
Yes.
Councilmember Davis,
Yes.
Councilmember Menke,
Yes.
Councilmember Gonzalez.
Yes.
Motion carries.
We will now go on to item number 12.
Item 12 is voting delegate and alternate voting delegates for the 2020 League of California Cities Annual Conference. Mayor and council members, the League of California Cities conducts an annual conference each year. This year it will be virtually, but they're still asking for the city to delegate an alternate and a delegate and an alternate or two to vote on the proposed resolution at the business meeting. So this should be a council member who's planning to attend, and it can be whoever you choose from amongst yourself. So it'd be appropriate for a motion to appoint a delegate and an alternate or two.
May I ask who's attending?
I'm not aware of who's attending.
Okay.
I'll be attending.
Councilmember Davis has indicated he's attending, and Councilmember Menke.
So I'll move for.
Well, wait,
Menke?
is Mayor going?
Mayor, are you attending the conference?
I would like to go, yes.
So we're all attending. So right now, may I ask, who's the delegate right now for League of Cities?
There isn't one.
We
This
don't have one.
No, because what happened in the past was you would appoint the delegates for this purpose at the league conference, but it's more appropriate to do it right before the conference so that we know who's attending.
Okay.
So there's no current appointee.
So I'll appoint Minky, council member.
So Councilmember Gonzalez has made a motion to appoint Councilmember Menke as the delegate.
I'll second.
Mayor Pro Tem Ibarra has seconded that motion. Would you like to do the alternates at this time as well, or a separate motion?
Gonzalez as an alternate and Davis as an alternate. There's my motion.
So a friendly
I'll second,
amendment.
Yeah.
So we have a motion by Councilmember Gonzalez, seconded by Mayor Pro Tem Ibarra to appoint Councilmember Menke as the delegate and Councilmember Gonzalez and Councilmember Davis as alternates. That was the friendly amendment.
Mhm.
I'll call the question. Mayor Lopez,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Ibarra,
Yes.
Councilmember Davis.
Yes.
Councilmember Menke,
Yes.
Councilmember Gonzalez.
Yes.
Motion carries. I will forward that information to the league.
Thank you. We will now go on to item number 13.
Item 13 is termination of emergency ambulance service agreement with the County of Los Angeles, and Interim Fire Chief Enriquez will present the report.
I'm so sorry, I can't hear.
There we go. Okay,
Oh,
there we go.
thank you.
Thank you. So used to wearing this mask and wherever we go. Good morning, Honorable Mayor and Council, Jim Enriquez, Fire Department. Regarding the termination of ambulance service agreement with the County of Los Angeles, it is recommended you approve the termination of emergency medical services agreement with the County of Los Angeles, which will allow for relinquishment of emergency ambulance transportation rights and place responsibility of emergency medical transportation with the Los Angeles County EMS agency. A little bit of background. On November 5th, 1991, Council adopted Resolution 6008 approving EMS service agreement with the County of Los Angeles. The agreement designated the city as an exclusive emergency ambulance transportation service operation area and recognized the city as exclusive provided within the city territory at no cost to the county. The city has historically retained all rights of emergency medical response and transportation of all patients within the geographical borders of the city, consistent with state and local health and safety codes. The city provided emergency medical care response transportation through a mixed fire department services and subcontract ambulance services. However, on June 19, 2009, the fire department discontinued contractual paramedic ambulance service and began delivering its own paramedic service within the city. And we hired our own paramedics for that purpose. With the impending transition of LA County Fire Department on July 9, 2020, in compliance with the city's policies and procedure, an RFP was published, request for a proposal for direct ambulance service within the city by any private entities. The RFP was published on the city's website, circulated copies and provided to the qualified firms. A single ambulance company responded to the RFP and that was Care Ambulance. And their proposed for providing ambulance service in the city is $858,480, which, to be clear, for them to render service, EMS service within the city, they're going to charge us $858,000, which I found interesting. But after thorough review of the proposal, it was determined it would be in the best interest of the city to relinquish emergency ambulance transportation rights and place the responsibility for emergency ambulance transportation service within the Los Angeles County EMS agencies. To break even, the ambulance company needs to transport at least 7 patients per day. Due to the city's low call volume, the Care Ambulance would not be able to operate profitably with a dedicated response team times sustainability for 24 hours around the clock. They do have current staff in the nearby cities in Huntington Park and Maywood. And then with that sustaining, that's where the cost is incurred of $854,000. And likewise, all other ambulance companies will be in the same challenge, in which sustain that service with the limited revenue. During fiscal year 2017 and 18, and then likewise 2016, but 3 years of average response times is about 2 medical responses per day. Again, would require at least 7 to break even to offset the costs of sustainability. The Los Angeles County Fire Department does not provide emergency ambulance transportation, as this response has been given to LA County Department of Health Services through the contract private ambulance companies. DHS selects ambulance companies and provides contracts to them every 10 years within the exclusive series of bids and proposal. The last process took place in 2016. The city does not provide, if the city does not provide ambulance transportation at the time of transition, the city ambulance provider will be assigned by the Department of Health Services with no cost to the city. However, we would lose the rights to provide ambulance service transportation in the future. There is no anticipation of a future needs for maintaining city control ambulance transportation model. Even with the addition of more residents within the city, the call volume will likely never be to a point where it is profitable to maintain ambulance transportation service. Profitability for ambulance companies generally lies in high volume, and which equates to high density within the city, usually facilities that have elderly patients, such as convalescent facilities, et cetera. We just don't have that demographics. And it projected probably will not in any time future. Fiscal impact. During fiscal year 2017, the revenue generated by us maintaining our own medical transportation and likewise ability was $182,430. The average 3 years of our fiscal revenue equates to about $217,525. As the city opts to retain its transportation rights and enters into agreement with Cara Ambulance, the city could attempt to negotiate the cost down by offering and negotiating other options to bring that cost, that proposal of $858,000 down. That would only options to maybe that we would have some opportunity to negotiate if they would like to staff our station 779, which is off Bandini, maybe to rent that back, but that's really the only limited option that can be negotiated with them. As we assess it, it's a difficult challenge to maintain that service, to sustain the personnel, because we just don't run the calls in the city. You don't have that. That concludes my report. To answer any questions, we have our paramedic coordinator, Brian Woodruff, who has been here since the inception of the program, and he has historical knowledge and can answer any detailed questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Does council have any technical questions for staff?
Yeah, I do. Out of all the ambulance services, why was there only one replying? Was it no interest? Did we not bid it correctly? What was the reason?
No interest,
No interest.
most likely. Inside scoop is they all agreed not to even pursue it. Care was the only one that wanted to go for it. So they discussed it amongst themselves, various meetings.
Okay.
So I guess let me make sure I understand this. We're supposed to pay Care Ambulance $850,000 for this transition period until county takes over?
No. So basically for them to guarantee that they will have an ambulance here, if we wanted to contract with a private ambulance, they would charge us $858,000 a year. If we throw up our hands and go, you know what? Not our problem anymore. The County of Los Angeles, it's your responsibility ultimately. If we throw up our hands, they will most likely assign either Care or McCormick to our city anyway. And they have to abide by response times, county response times too, which I believe is 10 minutes. So in the end, we can pay to have Care in our city, or we can just defer to the county, in which case an ambulance company will be assigned to us. It's really a wash. We're getting the same service. The only caveat is that they say if you do throw up your arms and default to us, you're going to arguably lose your ability if you wanted in the future to say, hey, you know what, we would like to transport our own patients now again. They're going to say, no, you deferred it to us. You defaulted. And that would be a fight for the lawyers. I don't believe there's any specific language that says, yes, you absolutely, you lose it. And it's a very hotly contended item at the state level right now. Both our right to provide EMS service and our right to provide transportation service. Currently right now as a Vernon Fire Department, we transport all of our own patients in our ambulance, right? County Fire does not do that. They utilize a Los Angeles County EMS agency provided ambulance service every time and then if the paramedics go with them, they go inside of that county provided ambulance. And that's their model. So there will be no transition fee or anything like that. That this will be a smooth transition. Either we will pay for a private ambulance to run our calls, or one will be provided by the county.
It sounded to me like this was not a negotiated item in the contract. Is that correct?
That's correct. They just had a proposal. There was no negotiations. We just received their proposal and we said, we'll get back to you.
Thank you. So one more thing. If we move to approve this, we're approving the 850,000, is that correct?
I believe you're approving to relinquish your control over transportation.
Throwing up our hands.
That's correct.
'Cause
And
that's what I
deferring
want
it.
to do.
Yes, yes. And deferring it to Los Angeles County, whereby it will be their responsibility and their problem.
Thank you. I will miss you guys. It's extremely, I don't know how many of you have ridden in the back of one of our ambulance, but I have. So, yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Are there any further questions for staff by the council? Are there any public comments? Seeing that there are none, may I have a motion? I'll move.
Motion
Is there
by,
a second? Mhm.
motion by Mayor Lopez, seconded by Councilmember Davis to approve the termination of emergency ambulance services agreement, which will allow for relinquishment of emergency ambulance transportation rights and place the responsibility on Los Angeles County Emergency Medical Services. Mayor Lopez,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Ibarra,
Yes.
Councilmember Davis,
Yes.
Councilmember Menke.
Yes.
Councilmember Gonzalez.
Yes.
Motion carries.
We will now go on to item number 14.
Item 14 is memorandum of understanding with Stacy Medical Center, Inc. for influenza vaccine inoculation services, and Health and Environmental Control Director Agent will present the report.
Good morning, Honorable Mayor and members of the council.
Good morning.
So the item before you is a memorandum of an understanding to enter into an agreement in partnership with Stacy Medical to provide flu vaccines to the residents and employees in the city of Vernon. Before I get to the background and can I ask for your approval? I have Dr. Muscola also over here, and actually I have Dr. Fluman from Stacy in case there's some technical questions. But I want to invite Dr. Muscola to come up and probably say a few things about why we think it's important and critical to have this flu vaccine campaign.
Good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to speak to you today. I mean, flu, as you know, happens every year in the world. It happens in different times, if we're in the Southern Hemisphere versus the Northern Hemisphere. Here in the Northern Hemisphere, we usually start seeing influenza in about November to December in Los Angeles County. It varies across the states. The Southern Hemisphere has already had its influenza season, And lo and behold, there was flu last year. And it was less than expected, not surprisingly, because we are doing measures that decrease the occurrence of any type of respiratory illnesses with our social distancing, wearing masks, et cetera. But there have been times when there have been co-infections with both influenza and COVID-19. Obviously, you know, that can happen. These viruses can co-circulate. So this year, more than ever, it is important for us to get, all of us to get vaccinated against influenza. The vaccine has been around for over 50 years, yet sadly, the people most at risk to get the disease and have severe consequences, like those people over 65 or people with underlying comorbidities, only about 50 to 60% actually get flu vaccine. Children, unlike COVID-19, are more susceptible to the flu and its adverse consequences. Actually, children with COVID do very well, very rarely have any mortality. With flu, children do have infections and have mortality, even if they're healthy with no other underlying conditions. And also, unlike COVID, children are more likely to be what we call the vectors and spread the disease to their parents, grandparents silently throughout schools, whereas it's not so much so for children under the age of 10. Again, you know, workers, it's really important to get them vaccinated as well as everyone else. So if you do get a flu-like symptoms, which are very similar to COVID, it can help maybe differentiate whether or not you have COVID or influenza. You know, so if we can actually prevent one disease right now, we don't have obviously a vaccine for COVID. We do have a vaccine for flu. Again, the efficacy or how well it works in people depends upon your age and underlying conditions. It works great in young children. It has a great efficacy in those 18 to 44-year-olds, which unfortunately also have the lowest rate of uptake of flu vaccine. So this year, you know, under Mr. Agent's great guidance, you know, he decided we really want to promulgate getting flu vaccine for everyone here in the city of workers. Number one, it improves the morale, I think, of the workers. It reduces absenteeism. It helps avoid any type of confusion if you have flu versus if you have COVID. I think it's a win-win for the employer. They get increased from the, and it looks like they're doing something proactive. I think that's what the message should be this year, is to try and make people as healthy as they can be it with respect to diet, exercise, or other things, getting preventative care, you know, because we can't obviously prevent COVID as well as we would like, but there are other things that we can do to make our body stronger, resistance from disease. And one of those things is getting flu vaccination. Data has also shown recently that people are less likely to get preventative care. They're less likely to go see their doctors, get their flu vaccine, get any of their vaccinations up to date. So I think it's very important for us to be proactive in this way, offering flu vaccination, you know, and when you bring it to the site where people are, they're obviously more likely to get vaccinated. I know when I used to talk to hospitals, if the nurses would be running around in the cafeteria giving doctors their shots because they're just as lazy as everyone else and don't want to take time out of their day to get vaccinated. So I really think that this is a wonderful effort that the city of Vernon is putting forward to help. Again, we have 55,000 workers. So, you know, 5,000 doses is really just a drop in the bucket, but it's a start. And I think that, you know, hopefully if we continue this year, we'll get more and more buy-in in following years. LA County is also perhaps, you know, if we have shown interest, will help us if they have extra vaccine, which they usually do by November or December, to give us some vaccine perhaps to use. So if we set up this mechanism, this groundwork, this educational platform that we in the city of Vernon are concerned about workers' health, about the employers having a healthy workforce, that it'll really bode well for us in the future, especially with COVID co-circulating probably with flu in the coming fall. And I'll take any other questions.
Does council have any technical questions?
Thank you very much. I'll be here.
Thank you. Are there any public comments? May I have a motion for item number 14?
I'll move item 14.
I'll second. Motion by Mayor Pro Tem Ibarra, seconded by Councilmember Menke to approve the memorandum of understanding with Stacy Medical Center for influenza vaccine inoculation services. Mayor Lopez,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Ibarra,
Yes.
Councilmember Davis,
Yes.
Councilmember Menke.
Yes.
Councilmember Gonzalez.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Now we will go on to oral reports. City Administrator Fandino, do you have a report?
Yes, I do. We'll start with Vernon Police Department. They arrested a male in the 5500 block of Soto for commercial burglary on September 1st. And on September 2nd, the 9 Deuce Bishop Blood gang attempted to host a party in the 2000 block of 49th Street with the assistance of LAPD gang unit, Huntington Park Police Department, and Bell Police Department. Vernon was able to vacate the partygoers for not having a special event permit. On September 3rd, they arrested a suspect in the 4900 block for grand theft auto. On September 4th, they responded to a non-injury traffic collision on the 5500 block of Alameda and arrested one of the drivers for grand theft auto. On September 4th, they stopped a vehicle in the 2500 block of Soto and arrested 3 suspects who had just stolen 47 pallets from 5500 block of Boyle. On September 11th, the detectives arrested 2 suspects in the 4500 block of District for internal theft. With the assistance of a private investigator, Vernon detectives and the company was able to prove a $3,000 loss. However, they suspect that a $35,000 loss was incurred over the past 3 years, which led to the investigation. On September 13th, Vernon arrested 2 suspects in the 5500 block for commercial burglary. There was a planned protest at Farmer John over the weekend. A group of demonstrators planning a 48-hour protest at Farmer John is also scheduled for the future. They did come over to the City Hall. They went to Farmer John and then ended up here at City Hall, took some, they basically protested out in the street, took some pictures and then vacated the property. Early Sunday, September 13th, Vernon Fire Department personnel on Engine 79 were part of an Area East strike team that was requested to defend homes threatened by the Bobcat Fire in Arcadia. Engine 79 is expected to remain at the Bobcat Fire until the fire threat is diminished. FEMA Fire Management Assistant Grant has been approved for the Bobcat Fire. Therefore, all staffing related costs are 75% reimbursable by FEMA. VPU on September 1st at 3:21 p.m. Experienced a 9-second outage on feeder 7 kV circuit. The cause was not apparent. However, due to the characteristics of the outage, heavy truck traffic nearby, it's likely that it was caused by a truck contacting the utility pole. The city's raffle for the Chalkathon participants will occur immediately after today's city council meeting. Council members are welcome to join the staff for the random selection of a winner. Just a reminder that the city's family game night outreach event continues through September 17th. Please encourage your neighbors to send photos of their own family activities and game nights that we can share on social media. Children in participating households will have the opportunity to win one of 4 bicycles donated by Retrospect to be raffled by the city. The city's next Green Vernon Commission meeting is scheduled for tomorrow, September 16th at 3 p.m. in the council chamber. Internet service is likely to be offered to the customers starting this week. We hope to have that implemented by the end of this week, early next week. Nothing further.
I believe
Are
the
there
Green
any
Vernon
report-
Commission,
Oh,
the Green Vernon Commission's at 3:30.
3:30. Did I say 3?
yes. Thank you. Are there any reports from council? Seeing that there are none, without any further business, I adjourn this meeting at 9:39, and we will now.
Mayor?
Mayor, I'm sorry, Mayor. We
I'm
did
sorry.
add the closed session item. My apologies. And so we'd ask the council to recess into closed session for the one item.
Okay, so item number 15, the added closed session item.
Yes, at this time, the council, we'd ask the council to recess into closed session for one item of Public
get a-
employee evaluation is approved by the city council.
Okay, without any further business, I adjourn this meeting at 9:39.
No.
Recess.
Recess this meeting.
Yeah. So first one.